Hello, this is CityScape, our regular podcast featuring people, places, and ideas that impact Livonia. As we approach the start of the new school year, just about all of us can agree that this fall's school experience will be unique, to say the least. Livonia Public Schools plans to open the year with online instruction only. Superintendent Andrea Oquist leads the school district of about 14,000 students that serves portions of Westland and most of Livonia. Andrea, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Dan. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Andrea, what did the Livonia School Board and your team, how did the decision come to start with online instruction to start the school year?
Thanks, Dan. This was really a process that took place over the past few months, starting in May and really continued on through last week when the board made their final vote with regard to our return to learn plan. So we started back in May with a pretty large task force of parents, staff, members of our community representing each of our employee groups, each of our schools and programs. And we really took the guidance from the state at that time that told us to plan for really three different scenarios, either all in-person instruction, a hybrid, which is a blend of in-person and remote learning, or fully remote learning. And that ultimately it would be dependent upon the phase in which our region of our state would be at that time. So we began to do the work in those three scenarios, and then the Return to Learn roadmap came out from our state June 30th. From there, we really pivoted our work to focus more so on in-person instruction. Phase 4 allows for in-person instruction. While there are many requirements, there are also many strong recommendations, is the term that the roadmap utilizes, along with recommendations. As we began to take a look at that, we really started to focus on what in-person instruction could look like for our students. And at that time, the data in our region and in our state was really looking a little better toward the end of June, the very beginning of July. As we went through that work and planned for our presentation to the board at the end of July, again, our focus was on providing our parents with two options, a traditional in-person option for education or a Livonia virtual option, which is a new long-term online program, which we thought would be an attractive option for many of our families. So our initial presentation to the board included a recommendation for a choice between those two programs. We received a tremendous amount of feedback from our community, our school community, over those next several days after unveiling our plan. We also continued to check the metrics and monitor what was happening in our region, what was happening in the state with regard to the virus. Much of the feedback that we got focused on the area of physical distancing and our inability to really meet what was termed strong recommendations within the roadmap. As we took a look at that, we thought it was much more cautious and a measurable approach for us to take a step back. The board asked us to take a look at the possibility of offering remote learning to start with a plan to return for in-person learning as soon as it was safe and possible to do so. So our team reworked a bit of that plan and felt very comfortable doing so, that we would look at September, our Safe Start September, rather than the initial half days for all students that we had planned, that we'd start with remote learning to allow us to begin with our staff in person, get those safety and health protocols in place, be able to plan for a gradual blended reentry of our students after Safe Start September, and begin with a rich and robust remote plan so that we didn't have to have the uncertainty for students or for parents or staff from opening and potentially closing because of outbreaks within those first few weeks of school.
So to my understanding, you're going to start with your teachers in their classrooms. Obviously, students will be at home or at their online site, but this will allow your staff over a couple-week period to see what the building will look like and get acclimated to the recommendations, what the protocols and the safety ideas that come across, so the staff can collaborate on how to handle that when students are introduced back to the building. Is that true?
Absolutely. We really feel like this is a safe and incremental way to be able to start the school year. So our students will see our staff in the classrooms that they will be joining eventually when we begin for in-person instruction. They will also have the opportunity to safely collaborate and have professional development with one another on the remote learning process, their Google Classrooms, and have the opportunity to receive the support from our central office staff as well. So we think that will be an excellent bridge for the school year to begin in that way. We will also begin to practice and put in place the protocols as students re-enter. So to have the opportunity to also bring back some of our most vulnerable or at-risk students during that Safe Start September in individual or small groups as well will allow us to meet their unique needs.
What will it take for the board administration to reopen the schools for in-person instruction?
Our plan is to begin that process again with a blended learning model at the beginning of October. So what we'll look to do is, again, take a look at the data and the metrics surrounding our region and in our area. We're going to work in collaboration with our ISD, that's our Wayne County RESA, our neighboring districts within the county, and also learn from school districts within our state and outside of our state who are using similar safety protocols. Really, if you're going to compare apples and apples, it's important that we're looking at other districts that are using similar protocols, such as masks for all students and staff. Look at some best practices that we can learn from those schools and help that be part of our determination as we look to reopen the schools in October. So again, we'll look to do so with a partial reentry, so approximately a portion of our students during the week, so that we can, again, enhance those safety protocols, enhance our new practices, get students used to those processes before we begin to bring everyone back in person. And again, we'll closely follow those metrics in our region as we make decisions to do that.
Andrea, I know you're busy with all the challenges you're facing to start this school year, but I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us, and good luck with the new school year.
Absolutely. We can't wait to welcome back our students both remotely and in person, and we are grateful for the partnership with our parents and our community in doing so. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Andrea, and we thank everyone for watching this edition of CityScape. I'm Dan West from the Livonia Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you next time.